moved.
A second? Tony? All in favor? Click on the draw. I already found that one. Well, the book is in the office at 5:30 if you want to look through them all.
This is a little, this, what do you call it?
No, you need to.
Here she
Go
is.
around. All right, next on the agenda is to approve of the minutes as corrected, minutes as corrected by Dan, that's all of us, of January 13th. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as written, as corrected? Sorry. We corrected the vote. The vote was 5-0. It was 3-2. Fix that.
Yeah,
We have a motion by Rachel, second by Tony.
Tony, I think Tony's sick, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that what we have now for the minutes?
That's correct.
Okay,
That's
all in
correct.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, that'd be 5. Although we had to correct a voting, but we fixed it already. Next on the agenda is the Micro Enterprise Grant update. We were selected to move forward. John received a letter from the Department of Economic and Community Development, and Ruth Cash Smith came this Tuesday and met with most of the applicants, and she's working with all of them to get to produce a 5-page business plan and 2-year financial projection, and we will have the final results of those plans by March 1st in the office. The plan doesn't have to be until the third week in March. So it's not a given that all 6 applicants will go forward to the second round of the grant. We're waiting for a business advisor to give us an update on the solid foundation of each business plan and how that would work over a period of 5 years. Anything else to say?
Yeah, we also had discussed 2 exemptions. We had an appointed official apply, and we had the partner of the Selectman apply, and both of those exemptions were granted.
We have a separate letter addressing that issue, so that's a go-ahead for everyone.
On the public facilities grant, the application went in. Even though there was no funded, we decided to apply anyways. We were not the only community that applied. So we're waiting to see how that goes.
Great, well, it's always good to be in there. Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
So next on the agenda is, there was a request from someone to, that we would put the minutes and the agenda on the town website of the select board meetings, and I had Renee check other towns of the same amount of citizens, 1,300, and she found that all of the towns that she researched did have the agenda and minutes on, so I suggest that we in fact do that. So I would need a motion
I make a motion
And
that we
that we,
have all minutes and agenda
okay,
on the town's website for general public to review.
thank you. Do I have a second? All in favor?
before we vote, could I have, the date of the meeting is Wednesday, but have the agenda as of the previous Tuesday, the day before the selectmen's meeting, because there are times when
Yeah.
that agenda will change.
Yeah.
And
So
Yeah.
John wants to hand it to Renee at Tuesday morning and saying, as of this morning, this is the
Right.
agenda, because we've already had to add 2 things in,
Yep.
but normally.
Is,
She's-
I don't
she doesn't
think the
have to
agenda is as important as the minutes. They
The
they
minutes are
really want, they
definitely
want the
more-
minutes,
yes.
for sure.
Okay.
So I don't think the agenda's that big a deal.
No,
As
you
long
could
as
just do a
have
draft agenda, you
Yeah.
maybe
As long as we
submit
have
it
the-
that way.
the minutes, yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway, all in favor with the correction of John
Right, with the addition, amended, as amended.
as amended? All right, we need a motion to appoint Barbara Frazier to the Downtown Revitalization Committee. Do I have a
So
motion?
moved.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor? And we thank Barbara for volunteering to do that in advance. She is the Economic Development Committee liaison to this subcommittee. John, you can ask about this.
Yeah, we recently completed a low to moderate income survey. And this survey required a lot of work. We had 300 households that were identified that we had to visit. We had primary contacts, and then we had secondary contacts if the primary ones were not available. And there was a lot of work done. A lot of the work done was by town staff, and we also had some people that volunteered. And without this group of people, this income survey never would have been completed. I found out that we're about 61% LMI, which means we do qualify for grants and forms of financing to low and moderate income communities. What I like to do is I like to reach out and send a letter of appreciation. And it reads, the town of Lubec wishes to express our gratitude for your time and effort for the recently completed Lubec Income Survey. Thanks to your efforts, we're able to confirm our community's low to moderate income status. This will allow us to continue to apply for grants, other forms of financing for much needed community projects. This work would not have been possible without your efforts, and they are appreciated. On behalf of the Board of Selectmen of the town of Lubec, I want to say thank you. And I got one for Gwen Clover, Patsy Green, Rhoda Jordan, Bob Aaron, Bud
Yes.
Frazier,
We haven't made a motion, so.
and Nancy Bagley.
I need a motion.
So moved to sign the
Yes.
letters of appreciation.
Do I second?
second.
All in favor? All right, get your pens out now.
Do we know
Which
that?
pen? You want it all in black?
That's black.
John, would you read the list of names
No,
again?
that's black.
Nancy Bagley,
You got black there?
I don't know. Black,
Yeah,
Barbara
black
Frazier,
there.
Bob Aaron,
Bob,
Aaron,
Aaron's.
Rhoda Jordan, Patsy Green,
she does?
I think
and Gwen Clover.
Thank you.
I'm sure we made them.
We had 4 members of the Lubec staff.
You didn't have, that's not what?
I just, I couldn't have any, so I couldn't get Bob.
Let's see the solar buildings. Is this because they were seasonal?
There's different reasons, and you get the reasons.
Oh, building.
Usage.
So seasonal, okay, well, that's because we didn't know.
Alright.
So we had, on the, next on the agenda is sewer abatements. We had that miscommunication on when we're doing the sewer billing, that when you are seasonal, it's not 900 cubic yard, cubic feet, every quarter, it's 2,700 cubic feet per year. So our system was spitting out bills over the minimum amount due on the quarters. Okay, seasonal, they're here for 4 months, they're here for 5 months. So then like maybe July to October, they're getting like a bill for 1,100, which is 200 over the required amount, but it's supposed to be on an annual basis, a 2,700. I had an extensive conversation with the water department, so that was why we're having a few abatements. Your bills.
Is this true of the business as well?
Well, that's definitely a subject to be brought up.
Okay.
I don't know whether there's many depends on the
Lubec
size.
landmark.
Yes, are you seasonal?
Pretty much, we close down at Columbus Day and we open up.
Well, then what you do, you drain the,
Yeah,
you turn the
everything's
water
drained,
off? Well,
everything's
then
shut
you're seasonal. You should be
Well-
seasonal.
For goodness sake.
Well, do you know if you are?
I know we're seasonal.
Okay, so then
If
you're
somebody
still
chooses to
paying,
be at Lubec
you still have to
landmarks
pay
in the winter.
5610. I mean, you can't get out of the quarterly 5610.
Okay.
It's just that some people were getting billed like $72 because in the quarter that they were here, they were going over 900, and there was a miscommunication as to how you calculated overage of a seasonal account. Anyway,
If you're seasonal, you get billed twice a year. You get 2 bills.
Okay, okay.
and you'd have to be over the 2,700 before you start getting more than the minimum.
Well, I
So
think
really,
I'll
it would only
probably-
reflect on the end of the last
Yes.
bill.
Right, they estimate the first bill, and then
Yes.
the second bill, they make it up or
Mhm.
whatever.
So do I have a motion to, do you want me?
That's a great motion that was explained very well.
Yes, thank you so much.
So can we sign these down? How many do we have? Let's see, we have,
You're not on stage yet.
I
well, we have 112, a 56, a $49, 56, 49, 52. So we're looking at
Those numbers, I wonder what I'm doing now.
$250, something like that. 200. Do I have a motion to accept the sewer abatement?
I move that we accept the sewer abatements.
Second? All in favor? Get your pen back out again.
Yeah, you guys can go home and write it down.
Where's my stamp?
So this next round should eliminate all that, right?
It shouldn't, I think you got it under control, because I had a long conversation with Michael as well, and I think we have it under control. Okay, this would be your announcement.
I heard this week, our auditor, Doug Hollingsworth, is retiring and no longer taking accounts. So he and I had a conversation. He's gonna be around till probably about February, but we're gonna send out an RFP for an auditor this year.
I can give you a lot of names.
Yeah.
Well, after the COG meeting, I can too.
We have to have, I called the Bureau of Auditor in Augusta back when we were going on our 6th year for auditing, and I asked them what the proper procedure was, and they said that every 5 years you were to, it's a bid process, so it isn't, you have to go through the procedure of, you're looking for a bid, and when you know,
Do we have to advertise?
so we have to advertise that we're looking for an auditor, and then the bid comes back in as a certain amount for 5 years. So, and it's renewable each year. And I'll double check on all of those figures, but it's fine, because we were gonna go ahead and get a new auditor anyway. They said there's no rule about it, but it's a good practice to change after a while, so, it's,
Is there a
So we have-
radius of advertisement that we're
well,
limited to, or?
we'll check with the state.
Yeah.
It's not a requirement that you change auditors, but it's a good idea that every 5 years you at least, it can be the same auditor. They said you absolutely can go with the same auditor again, as long as you have, it's an open bid process.
So we'll be
And we'll do
looking-
that.
Yeah, we'll be
And
looking,
we'll have to do that,
put together an RFP.
we'll have to do that soon, like,
Okay.
next, while in John's absence, we had this threat of a 2-foot snowstorm last week, in which we luckily didn't have. And so the subject came up when I was there that we still didn't have a snow blower. So Renee checked around and found one that was available at Guptill's, and Guptill's also does the servicing for it, which he does the servicing for us. It did come out to be $74 more than the original one, but it's much more powerful. And I don't believe you can find a snow blower on the northeast now.
I think you can. Making big sales, it's saying, yeah, we haven't had snow here.
Well,
Well, last year we
Anyway,
were
we did
looking
get
for
snow blowers.
flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so anyway, this one is, we've also gone through, we've locked it up. It's in the fire bay, and Renee worked on a policy of how, who would be able to run it, and they would have to be trained first. And that, I spoke to the Public Works, and they don't want to use it downtown, because they feel as though it will just be, it won't last. It's just overwhelming amount of work for the snow that's on that side. So you can reopen that discussion with Ricky if you don't want,
We got a
that's
copy of the
what
policy.
he, so, yeah. So what,
Yeah,
so right now,
yeah.
it's just for what we originally voted for, it's for this building. And the EMS has agreed to clear their walkways, if they need to on the weekends when we're not here.
I'm
No.
telling you.
Who's your authorized trainer?
We're gonna have to have one. I mean, because it's a piece of equipment. we're
Somebody
gonna
could get
require that-
hurt.
We're gonna be required to have a
We could
policy.
put that out for bid as well.
No.
No, basically,
No, I thought Renee was gonna train.
yeah, I talked to Safety Works when the issue came up with the forklift operator, and typically an authorized trainer is somebody who can show that they're reasonably confident with the machine. I mean, somebody that can,
Identify snow.
right, somebody who
Stuff with snow.
has read the manual and is gonna be able to show people, where it all goes, how to check it, go over the procedures, and just make sure that people know how to operate it safely. We do have to have a lockout tagout policy for it because it is a machine. So we put that in this policy as well. I'd like to have the board take a look at it and see if they vote to adopt it. We can make changes.
Why is there 2 padlocks? I thought we were only having one. Because we went and got a chain and we padlocked it to the pull because we don't want it to disappear, and we've lost things out of the fire bay before.
Because as part of the lockout tagout, that second padlock is gonna be your lockout. So
I
when you're
don't-
working on a piece of machinery, maybe you got your hand in it or something, you wanna make sure there's no way that machine can be started.
With
And,
your hand in it would be not good.
right, but I mean, you could have something tore apart, you have the oil out of it. I mean, there's a number of things that could be done during the maintenance of the machine. Lockout tagout would let anybody know who is thinking
Is
about
that
using
part of
the
the
machine.
machine now? Well, I don't know, I just don't understand. I
The
mean,
lockout
I-
tagout is a policy
Okay,
that we have to have to show how are we gonna protect somebody working on that machine from somebody accidentally starting it.
okay.
We have to have one
So
of
you
our-
have to have this little thing in it to start, so that would be
Right.
taken out,
that-
correct?
and that's part of
what
it.
that is.
That key would be
It
taken
comes with a
out,
little key that
Yeah.
you can't start it without.
but that second lock would tell somebody that, somebody's working on it, there's something going on, that machine is out of service.
And there are 6 people on the list right now. We
Does that have an
did
automatic starter?
Hmm?
Have an electric starter on it?
I believe it does, doesn't it now? I don't know,
It's
where's
the
the,
key.
No, the other key is just the
locked out, so you have to have it in to start it.
This one looks like a recoil start,
A what?
a recoil start.
Is it a pull start?
I mean, most of them have, most
From the
of them,
picture,
most of them have both.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's what's being stored inside, it's gonna be relatively
It's,
warm.
that's the
easy to
picture,
store.
we didn't, just to make copies.
I think only
You know
what
what I'm talking
potentially
I thought it was
we add to
electric
add to this is a,
Well, the one that we originally voted on, I have as well, it's 599, it's exactly the same model, same make, but it was
no
one,
battery.
it's 20, this is 24 inches instead of 21, and it's only got a little more horsepower,
It's self-propelled.
and it's self-propelled.
So we're
Says we
voting on
didn't-
this?
Well,
We
we're
already
just, no, this
We
is
did- are we-
information, we
okay,
are, we're just
good.
letting you know that we finally, after 2.5 months, got a snow blower.
No,
I think maybe we should add to
It's a
this
full start.
preventive maintenance schedule. And that is in being, preventive maintenance on these machines usually based upon hours operated.
Okay,
So
We'll have
if
Renee
somebody
add
takes it out and they operate it for 2 hours, it's recorded. So that way at point in time, the oil and filters
Excellent.
are
excellent,
changed
Tony.
appropriately.
That's what you're so good at. You pick up those things that we wouldn't have thought of. So, not only do they sign it out, they should sign in the hours they
Number
use.
of hours, yeah. Well, there's no hour meter on it.
But they
But
would
let's say
know.
they're gonna start it, let's say I signed it out at 2 o'clock, I bring it back in at 4 o'clock, so therefore it's 2 hours of
Right. Very
machine time.
good.
So have a, create a log.
No, it needs a log.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. So we do need a motion to accept the policy as amended with a hourly log added,
Well, let's call it preventive maintenance log.
preventative maintenance log.
So that way if there's something wrong with it, like there's oil leaking or if there's a gas leak in it, or a filter needs to be replaced and or changed, there's a history of that. And particularly when your machine is warranted for, this is probably warranted for a year, that you can demonstrate to the company that even though it was in the commercial form or usage, this is how the machine was maintained.
I think it's an excellent point. So do I have a motion that we accept the policy as written with an addition of a preventative maintenance log?
So moved.
Second?
Oh, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Figured all his work.
Yes, we're waiting for you to second it, Tony, because you would really put yourself forward there. But I think we all voted. Okay, let's go on. Order of municipal.
Order of municipal officers, typically this is signed right after town meeting. And what it is it states, that any tax payment received from an individual is payment for any property tax against outstanding or delinquent taxes on said property in chronological order, beginning with the oldest unpaid tax bill provided. However, no such payment may be applied to any tax for which an abatement application or appeal is pending unless approved in writing by the taxpayer. We sign this typically right after town meeting, but it is recommended that anytime you change treasurer, that you sign it again. So that was brought to my attention, and I would like to ask the board that they review it and sign it. It's kind of dotting our i's and crossing our t's.
Do I have a motion that we sign the order of municipal officers?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Thank you for that diligent work on that. Cross our T's and dot our I's. Committee updates? Wait, before we do committee updates, I'd like Dan to give us a little update on the food pantry opening.
Yes, without any inaccuracies, so follow me because you were there. The transfer from Whiting, the Seventh-day Church to the high school wing, I think was extraordinarily successful with, I believe, over 40 volunteers. I think there's just a few odds and ends they're looking to finish, and the entire transaction will certainly be complete. I believe they boxed out close to 200 bags, and They've got the little kitchenette there where as people come in for food, they can also sit and have a meal, as well as coffee and some chatter. So I think overall, especially with the snow and all that was there, I think it was extraordinarily successful. And again, I commend all who came out and all those who would like to come out. I believe there's some postings in town tomorrow. I
Is
believe
it
there's a
every
meeting.
week? Is it every week?
No, the pantry is the third Wednesday of every month. And it's from 2 to 6. If you volunteer, it's requested if you get there at about noon. You can then have there's a little lunch gathering for all the volunteers and instructions and things like that for 2 o'clock. So there's the third Wednesday. The Friday before that is in the morning. Always on the Friday before is the morning of the delivery of all the food. So we need volunteers, or LCOC needs volunteers for that Friday. And then the Monday, which is 2 days before Pantry Day, also volunteers are needed, and that's when they bag all the groceries all into their different sizes and all.
So, call Kathy Aaron's.
Call Kathy Arrington, or go, if you're a Facebooker, you can go on LCOC, Lubec Community Outreach, and information will be on that as well.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to hear. I was up here, I couldn't come, but I really heard it was a huge success.
The Monday before is at 9 in the morning when we bag. The
Mhm.
Friday before is at 7:45 when the
Okay.
trucks come and we unload.
Okay. All right.
The
Thank
Friday
you so
before
much,
Wednesday.
Joanne. I know
Friday
you were
before
off
the
there.
third Wednesday, that's the 7:45. The Monday before the third Wednesday is the 9, and then 12 o'clock is your volunteering,
And when does it close, the food pantry?
2 to 6.
2 to 6.
Okay, just as a reminder, I happen to open this to February the 17th, which
Correct.
happens to be the third Wednesday in
Mhm.
February. We are having the Making Headway film and blah, blah, blah.
But it's not in the same place. The food pantry's not
No.
at the cafeteria.
No.
No,
No, but I just want to let you, that's a full town meeting, so that's gonna be packed.
Not really, it peters out after 4 o'clock.
Oh,
Usually.
okay, okay.
Usually the
so-
biggest is the first hour.
All right,
From 2 to 3 is
Well,
usually the biggest.
yeah,
there's plenty of parking.
okay, all right,
The,
just to make you aware.
We're at the other end
a
of the high
representative
school.
from each vital group is, you guys have lists of who you're calling to
Yeah, oh,
invite
yeah,
for that, right? Do you have anything
No.
to say about the call?
The COG, which is the
Washington
Washington
County,
County
yeah.
Council of Government, in case our audience does not know, met yesterday in Millbridge, and it was a nice little luncheon. And we talked about everything that goes on in the county. I mean, but mostly financial situations. And we are doing, this county is doing fairly well, all things considered. And they just had an audit, and so I'm going to bring that booklet up for anybody to see. We can have it on the counter if you have a burning desire to read it. And there was a reminder, and I totally forgot this tonight, but I will put it out in the town office, of an upcoming food conference, which will be in March. So keep your eyes on that, especially food pantry people, I think it would be good. Other than that, it was fairly uneventful, but interesting, because I hadn't seen it before. And it's interesting, coming from Lubec, you see other towns that are going through similar things with the salt and sand shed, and you realize that we're not alone. We're just like everybody else. Everybody's fighting budgets, everybody's looking for money. And so it kind of gave you a sense of warmth and camaraderie.
Well, thank you for going. And Jody
Oh, it
Forbes
was,
as well.
yes, Jody and I went together.
Excellent. Thank you. And now we do committee updates?
Yeah, the Shellfish Committee, the next one is February 8th at 6 p.m. Harbor Board, next meeting February 18th at 7. Marion Transfer Station, next meeting will be February 9th at 6 p.m. Washington County Emergency Management, the regular meeting is set for February 29th at 4:30. I got an email today. There's going to be a meeting January 29th, Friday at 1 p.m.
Are you gonna be able to go?
I'm not sure. Are you going to be able to go?
I'm not, and I emailed Pete,
Okay.
told him my feelings,
Yeah.
and,
I think
So
we
he
share the
knows.
same opinion.
okay.
Basically, they're looking at discussing a couple of ambulances buying one used, buying one new. So we have a meeting on Friday at 1 p.m. to the board to discuss it.
You're
Revolve,
not going?
I'm not sure we're going to see updates on Friday.
It's this Friday?
That's right. Revolving loan committee, next meeting is February 10th at 9 a.m. Recycling committee, next meeting is February 8th at 4 p.m. Economic development, the next meeting will be February 30th at 6 p.m. Downtown revitalization, next meeting will be February 2nd at 4 p.m.
Very good.
So we have-
Public comment? Well, if there is no more business to attend to, we will now, I will entertain a motion to go into executive session, discussion of confidential records, 1 MRSA 4056